Dragon Ball fans, welcome to GameCast's definitive destination for all things Dragon Ball. I'm your host Sully, and today you're also joined by Mark. How are you today, Mark?
I'm okay. I don't know if I wanted to be cheery or not.
That's fair enough. To begin this episode, Mark, I want to send you something hilarious that I just found while we were trying to scrounge up talking points for this episode, because PAX was a complete bust. We got nothing from PAX Dragon Ball wise, or next to nothing. So in my scrounging, I found this. I've sent you on Discord, so have a look and tell me what you think.
Do you think it's bubblegum flavored?
I hope so. So it's on screen for the listeners, so check that out. Well done. Well played on that. I like it. It works. But Mark, let's move on and actually get into the episode.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be basically rounding off a few bullet points of news and information, handy stuff regarding Comic-Con, home release for the movie, the Broly movie that is, and a little bit of controversy regarding that, a tribute regarding the original Bulma voice actor, the Japanese voice actor. And then I'm not sure if we mentioned it in episode 13 a couple of weeks ago, a week and a half ago, but we were planning on covering the Afterlife or Otherworld tournament of the Boo saga, the beginning of the Boo saga, in the second half of this episode. So we will be doing that. So if you haven't watched that, put us on pause, go give those episodes a watch. There's only about 4 or 5 of them. And then come back and check the second half of this episode out. But first, Mark, let's start with the tribute tweet that Toei Animation actually put out on the 30th of March for the 59th birthday of the original voice actor. It's pretty short. They basically just said, you live forever in our hearts. Happy birthday on what would have been her 59th birthday. For those of you who are not aware, a couple of years ago, she passed away, basically, I believe it was behind the wheel of her car, just found unresponsive, which is really sad. 60 isn't old these days. Incredibly talented voice actor who had been voicing Bulma since the get-go, I'm pretty sure, since the get-go, like many of the Japanese voice actors. So, that's sad. Great to see Toei recognizing her though, and it's just one of those nice little touches. Any thoughts on that, Mark?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it would have a lot more impact in Japan than for Western audiences, unless you do watch sub and things like that. And I do appreciate how Dragon Ball has kept its same voice actors this whole time, because it is sort of like you're going on that journey with everyone.
Absolutely. Some of them are getting up in age as well. She wasn't one of the old ones either. No. The woman who, I've forgotten her name now. It's not hard to forget their names, I'm sorry. But the original voice actor, or the current voice actor for Goku, is in her 80s or something like that. That's...
I don't know if she's in her 80s yet, but she's definitely old.
She's old, man. She was definitely older than the Bulma voice actor. I know that. She's definitely getting up there. And same with the Vegeta voice actor. He's getting up there too. But let's not forget the series has been around since the 80s. Yeah. So it's 30 years almost.
Yeah, it's the same thing if you look at the original Transformers voice actors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a very, very similar situation.
Yeah, definitely.
But getting back on, it's good that they acknowledge all this and have a tribute to it. I know that there's sort of a tradition in Japanese culture when voice actors pass away that they sort of very silently remove that character from series or games and things like that. So it's it happened with Heihachi's voice actor in the Tekken series, how they don't use the young version of him anymore because his voice actor passed away.
Yeah, right.
But for characters that are as integral to something, then sometimes they will recast. So it seems like Bulma might be one of those.
Yeah, which they have, which can be heard in the latest movie. So she does a really good job as well, emulating Bulma, or the original voice actor. But let's move along, Mark. We're going to cross our fingers and hope that Kamea-Con brings us news for Dragon Ball Super. And that's actually this month. So April 12th and April 14th in Texas. That's when the event is held. There's a lot of rumor and speculation surrounding that. We will get big news from that event. It is becoming a bit of a big deal for Dragon Ball in Western regions. And personally, I'm expecting to get news, and this is rumored, of the anime series Return. What are your thoughts on that, Mark? Have you got any video game news that you're hoping to come out of Kamehacon?
Generally, like, there might be Dragon Ball FighterZ stuff because that sort of just trickles down randomly. But like something major that I want them to really flesh out is that Dragon Ball Project Z.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Because it's just, like, we've seen what it looks like, and in theory we've seen gameplay, but it doesn't answer any questions.
No, we all suspect what it's going to be like. That's out this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's meant to be this year. But like that could change. So stuff like that changes all the time. But like it's meant to be this year, which means it should be far along in development, which means we should be seeing trailers.
Yeah. So if you're those developers and you're looking at terms of events that you can announce your game, coming up, you have Kamehacon to pick from, or E3.
Yeah, and
personally,
E3's
I would
June. So
yeah,
I wouldn't wait that
want to be at E3. Yeah, no, I would be going Kamehacon where your fanboy, maybe fanboys, fan base actually resides, and you're going to get the right eyes on your property. So yeah, I think we'll probably see something there. If we don't get a huge reveal, I would be questioning as to whether or not that game is actually coming out this year. But yeah, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Probably going to get, I'm assuming more manga news. I think there's starting to be speculation surrounding the ending of the Moro arc and what's coming next. There probably won't be a huge amount of information regarding that because there'll be spoilers in there, I'm sure. But specifically the series news, Mark, I think this is when we'll see the unveiling of the series and its return. The hype of the movies now died off. It's been a couple of months since that. You've got the next arc of the manga coming-ish to an end. And I think the time's right for them to announce the series return now that everything's kind of simmered down a little bit since the movie. And we've got the home release coming up, which leads us to our next point. But again, the Kamehacon dates 12th and 14th of April, so keep your eyes peeled on the internet, or if you live in Texas, I believe you can still get tickets. But the home release, Mark, the home release of Dragon Ball Super Broly, this month. This is a big month for entertainment. We've got bloody Endgame, we've got freaking Game of Thrones back, and we've got Broly on Blu-ray, seemingly. That's the dates that Amazon gives us. These dates started popping up online in mid-February, April 16th. So if you are interested in getting that for the home release, seemingly mid-April is the date. In Australia, I think you can pick it up physically. Mark found June 8th, I believe it was. But Amazon, seemingly a little bit earlier. A little bit of controversy surrounding the home release, though, Mark, which we discussed before the episode, which is, I guess, could be a negative for many people. I kind of view it as a positive because it gives us an opportunity to get something fresh and new. But the voice actor for Broly has been dropped for the home release, the US English voice actor. What was his name again, Mark?
Vic Mignogna. Like, I might be mispronouncing it, but that's the common way I've heard it.
Yeah, he has also done a lot of voice acting in Full Metal Alchemist. I've forgotten his name again, Mark, the main character in that.
Edward Elric.
Edward, yep. So he's basically been dropped by Funimation for indecent conduct of the sexual nature. So
yeah,
enough said there.
Yeah, and it's like whether or not it's true or not, that's not for us to discuss, but he's been removed due to the controversy.
Yep, Funimation is basically just trying to dust their hands of a seemingly dirtier and dirtier situation. So they've decided to recast him for the home release. So that does give us something very fresh for the home release that we haven't seen before. So I'm excited about that, to see who they pop up and replace, which they haven't announced. a replacement, or made it publicly aware to the best of my knowledge, or that I could find at the time of this recording. So keep that in mind, because if you're purchasing it just for the intense vocal range of that voice actor as he plays Broly, that's not going to be present. And yeah, if you missed it at the cinemas, then you've unfortunately missed out on that. But Mark, that pretty much wraps up a few bullet points this week. Do you want to take it away with any video game findings we have?
Yeah. So it's been pretty quiet lately, but we've been getting screenshots of the latest Dragon Ball FighterZ character in the next pack, which is GT Era Goku. And specifically, he's in his kid form. And like a lot of people have been viewing it as, oh, it's another Goku, but like to be fair, it's Kid Goku. Pretty drastic difference. But he's a combination of both his GT self and his original Dragon Ball self, as he'll have the power pole and use it like he did in Dragon Ball.
That's cool.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. He can use Kamehamehas to burst himself around the stage, so he uses like a jumping boost.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and he's got a Kamehameha move that he'll change his state of Super Saiyan depending on how many people have already been downed in the match. So if he's the last man standing, he'll go level 3. And he's got the Super Spirit Bomb as his final move. But they confirmed that he's got one more special final move that's going to remain a mystery until later. And it's a lot of people thinking that he might turn level 4 and then he plays level 4. But as cool as that would be, it would be way too much work to have a completely different character model of adult Goku and moveset for adult Goku.
Yeah, no shit. But do you reckon they would do it?
If they really wanted to, I think they could. But I feel like it would be a waste of making him sort of like a super extension of one character. What's probably more likely is he will turn level 4 for his ultimate attack, but it will be an attack.
Like an animation.
Yeah, so because his normal one is Super Spirit Bomb, I'm guessing he's going to pull like a GT or Dragon Ball movie thing where he absorbs the Spirit Bomb and then does a Dragon Fist. And so he might absorb the Spirit Bomb, go level 4, and then Dragon Fist.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And so it would stay cinematic and stay awesome. And we get level 4 in it.
What about, is Pan in it?
No. This is the first time they've even made reference to GT being a possibility.
Yeah, right.
In FighterZ.
What if there's some
because
kind
people
of
thought
like...
they were just going to cut it off and pretend that GT never happened.
Yeah, well, there's a tag team mechanic, correct?
Yeah.
I haven't played a lot of it, but there's a tag team mechanic?
Yeah.
What if like there's some kind of Pan tag team, like both those young kids going at it or something?
They could, because they have had special combinations for effects. Like Android 18's got her super where she teams up with 17. But if you've got Krillin in your team, Krillin fills in for all those attacks instead.
Nice.
And like Gotank's, he's got a super boo volleyball where he bounces him around. But if you've got Piccolo in his thing, he bounces it between him and Piccolo.
That's cool.
So there's small little things that they could do if they wanted to.
That'd be cool.
But now that they've opened up the sort of
GT,
the GT wormhole, people are speculating if like the next DLC character, who's still a mystery, will be from GT or from something else, because people thought we would have seen Ultra Instinct Goku because Jiren was already in the game. But we've already got a Goku in this pack, so chances are we're not going to see any more Gokus this year.
No, definitely not. Have we got any characters from the movies yet? Or are they just strictly off limits?
So you cut off a bit.
Seemingly. Are there any characters from the movies popping up?
You cut off again.
Oh, no. Are there any characters from the movies that have popped up?
Yeah, so we've had Bardock, original Broly, Cooler. Did we have anyone else? No, that's it. But people think that we'll get Janemba, because Janemba was awesome.
Pycon.
Pycon would be pretty cool, actually.
He would be sick.
He'd have a good moveset, and the very final pack at the end of the year is Gogeta and new Broly.
Oh yeah.
So, like, movies definitely not off limits. If they put Janemba, it'd be a really cool pairing with new Gogeta.
Yeah, well, I mean, Pycon's in the series, even though it's technically
he's technically in it, but like Dragon Ball FighterZ has proven that it doesn't care about canon. I mean, like, they had its own original story, but it doesn't care about canon because it's got GT in it and it's got movie characters. I mean, like, it's got Bardock turning Super Saiyan. Like, it's cool. It's cool with doing whatever it wants.
Yeah, don't give a fuck.
Yeah, so the GT wormhole's open. We might see Baby. We might see Omega Shenron. Might see Pan.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I'm down for that. Let's stop pretending GT's not a thing. Let's just embrace it.
Yeah, like, level 4 is cool.
Yeah, bring it into the fold. There's nothing too bad about it. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Mark, is there anything else?
No, that's all.
No?
All that's been going
let's
on. I mean,
let's wrap up.
Super Dragon Ball Heroes, by the time this video's out, will probably have launched.
I forgot about that.
It'll be really cool. Don't expect it to be like the ultimate best game ever. Expect it to be a really cool Dragon Ball game because it's got a absolute crap ton of characters.
Yeah, I'm keen for that though.
It's got its own original story and an original arc that sort of continues off of the Xenoverse storyline, with new original characters from Akira Toriyama.
I'm pretty sure I've asked this before, but it's coming to PC, isn't it?
Yes.
So I find that so strange.
I think the mod community is gonna tear it apart. It's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be great, yeah. All right, man. Let's move into a brief musical break, and then we'll be back on the other side with our Otherworld tournament. Welcome back, Dragon Ball fans, to our discussion topic for this week, which is the Otherworld tournament, which takes place in the Buu saga of Dragon Ball Z, the last season and saga of Dragon Ball. Mark, I don't know about you, but I'm quite fond of this tournament. I don't know why. It's just a bit of fun to kick off the Buu saga, and right before we jump into a bunch of Teen Gohan filler. It is technically filler, so unfortunately all those characters are kind of in that weird limbo state of real and not real. I just consider them all real these days. I don't really give a fuck what anyone says. Pycon's awesome, so is Hercules. But yeah, I'm quite fond of it. How do you feel about it?
Parts of it, I could take it or leave it, in terms of the Kai structure, which, thanks to Super, is just... I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah, it's just, I was actually trying to wrap my head around that as well. I was like, this Kai structure and hierarchy just feels so strange when you start factoring in all the gods. Like, it's just, everything's there that they need, and then you just discover this whole other realm, like in Super. But yeah, I don't know. Like, usually we do the movies in this kind of segment, but to me, this feels like it could have been like almost a short movie. It's only like 4 episodes, and it's a lot of fun. Essentially, you know, for those, if you're listening to this and for whatever reason you haven't seen it, basically Goku, it's at the end of the Cell Saga, Goku's just died. He, can't remember specifically how, but they decide to have a tournament in the other world and have the strongest heroes from around the quadrants, all 4 quadrants, enter the tournament. And the prize is to win a personal and private training lesson with, is it the Grand Kai?
Yeah, the Grand Kai.
The Grand Kai, which in himself is a super awesome dude who's like this weird old rock guy who carries around a boombox. So that's the prize, that's the motivation, and commence the tournament. So, Mark, let's just jump into it. I've taken a couple notes which I thought were quite interesting, and some of them actually take place before the tournament even begins. But do you want to kick us off wherever you'd like to start regarding the tournament?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. It's a shame that a lot of this was non-canon, and I'm sure that if it was canon, they would have put a lot more effort into everyone that wasn't PyCon. But it was interesting, sort of like inferring that there were heroes and powerful entities besides Goku.
Yeah.
Even in his quadrant and planet, because he had the guy that's totally not Hercules that was there.
Yeah, that was cool. Even though they basically call him Hercules.
Yeah.
Everything that your heroes are based on, or something like that, is the guy.
Yeah.
Looks like Hercules. He's awesome.
And like it's a cool idea and things like that. And if it was canon, I'm sure they would have revisited it for the Tournament of Power, for getting a group together and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Imagine, dude, PyCon would have been such a perfect pick, eh?
Yeah, PyCon would have been pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they do something like that in the future. This should have been in our first half, but I have heard some speculation and rumors suggesting that the next arc after the Moro arc is apparently going to be super fan servicey. So that probably means a character from the past returning. I can only imagine. So
Raditz.
But yeah. Oh, please. Who knows? I'm keen though. Yeah, what's cool though to see Goku have that realization again, like he has in Super with the latest Tournament Power, that he's not necessarily the top dog. Even though in this case he was the top dog, but it was interesting to see his kind of shock and awe at first.
Yeah.
No, PyCon took it to him. I think took it to him pretty competitively, I think. Because at that point in time, Goku, everyone's going, he could just go Super Saiyan 2. He doesn't technically have that Super Saiyan 2 form yet. I believe in the Cell tournament, he was Super Saiyan grade.
Yeah, he's the Ascended. He's the Ascended.
Yeah, he's the English translation Ascended. I think the technical term is grade 4 or 2 or something like that. So there's multiple grades of Super Saiyan. We saw Vegeta take that grade and Trunks take the certain grade when they buffed up. So nobody had really attained Super Saiyan 2 bar Gohan at that point in time.
Yeah.
So Goku was in his Super Saiyan form. He was taking the fight to PyCon, and it was a pretty good battle.
Yeah. I remember this fight very differently to how I watched it not that long ago. I always thought, I don't know why, I always thought the fight was in two very short scenes, which was Goku pushing PyCon off of the stage, and I thought he went level 2 when he was pushing him. Like this is me younger. I thought he went level 2 while he was pushing him, and then them bouncing off of the ceiling. And that was pretty much my recollection of the fight.
Fuck, man, it's been ages since you watched it then.
Yeah. But I was not ready for the push to not really amount to much at all. Him to stay in level 1 for pretty much the whole fight. For him to go Kaioken mid-battle.
Yeah, he breaks the rule.
He's doing Dragon Ball Super stuff in a filler arc in Z.
Yeah. For those that didn't pick up on it, basically Kaioken in your Super Saiyan form is like one of Goku's biggest no-nos, because the key energy of Super Saiyan is just far too turbulent for that technique, which would just basically bugger him. But he does it, and he pwns him with a punch.
Yeah.
That was epic, man. That was so cool.
It was pretty cool.
That was the coolest part of the tournament, him just going Kaioken and just punching him into a moon. So that was sick. I quite liked the bit where he's pushing him on the floor as well, where PyCon basically just arcs up. He's like, "You think you've got this?" Blah 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 blah. And talks all tough shit when he stops him, and then he just can't budge Goku. Like, that was awesome. But Mark, before we get too deep into the battle, I just want to quickly touch on a couple of aspects before the tournament, which was actually just one in particular. We saw again a form of Goku that has appeared only once before this in a similar fashion, and that is like false Super Saiyan or Omen Super Saiyan. I'm assuming you know the moment I'm referring to when Pycon and Goku get called down to hell to sort out Cell and Frieza, which are running amok.
Yeah.
And Goku powers up. He looks like he's Super Saiyan, but his hair is not yellow. What is your speculation?
He's got the aura and his hair's spiked, but he doesn't have the gold.
Yeah, basically.
He's Lord Slugging it.
Yeah, he's Lord Slugging it. Have you got any speculation or reasoning for that?
See, part of it, I don't know if it was see, in Lord Slug was around the same time as Super Saiyan in like the anime, so you weren't sure if they were trying not to spoil anything. But here, I think it was just they couldn't be bothered animating it with a different color set.
I feel like it might be something like that, eh? I feel like somebody overlooked something and they just fucked up.
Because, like, keep in mind, the show's really old. Like,
yeah,
at this point, it was still really, really old, like, and pretty young.
Yeah, definitely.
And there were errors. There were definitely errors.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's heaps of errors, and I think this is just an error. I don't think there's anything like suspicious about it at all. I think they did the animation and made him look like a Super Saiyan and gave him the aura, and somebody fucking forgot to color his hair yellow. So
yeah,
but
it's like even if he just changed his aura back to white, you would have been fine with that too.
Yeah, definitely.
Because how many times did they power up just with white auras all the time?
Yeah, all the time. And I don't know if actually the beginning of the Boo saga is actually a little bit confusing like that. I'm pretty sure they changed animation studio. I believe somebody animated the Boo saga. So this is one instance where there's clearly been an animation issue, but you'll probably remember this as well, Mark. And like this moment when I was younger, and the moment I'm about to mention, they were what the fuck moments that you couldn't quantify and you weren't sure what the fuck was going on. And that's their ki blasts not having the associated color with the naming of the blast. So there was multiple times where I'd see Gohan or Vegeta or Goku, especially when Vegeta and Goku are fighting each other, or Gohan's trying to blow up the Boo orb from hatching. They're just all firing yellow blasts, even though they're naming their blasts like Kamehamehas and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. The color is not there. They're not blue, which is interesting as well. So I wonder if there was some kind of issue early on with the new animation team or something. Just
well, it's like sometimes it's just like for the good fights, you can tell it's the good animator and stuff like that.
Speaking of which, Mark, let's go back to the tournament. We've covered my one bullet point of notes, which I wanted to talk about. Back to the tournament, though. Did you notice the drastic change in, I guess, fight choreography and detail within the fight of Pycon and Goku as it reached the second half? Like, it just ramped up in so many aspects and fluidity. Like, it just reached a new level. Do you think there was some kind of changing of the guard for that final battle?
Yeah, like, it wasn't sort of like the highest grade that Dragon Ball does for, like, main canon, but it was definitely, like, the highest grade that they use for filler.
Yeah, definitely. Because when it felt like earlier on when they were fighting, it just felt like, a couple of flashy moves, a little bit choppy, changey, and then it just reached a whole new level for the final episode. So I found it quite... I kind of, as I was watching it, like you, I hadn't watched it in a while, and I was like, have I romanticized this tournament and fight in my head? And then I realized, nope, hang on, there is actually a really awesome last episode to that tournament where they're going at it.
Yeah.
So...
But I just couldn't remember it, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember Pycon's like special energy attack being total bullcrap.
It's so bullshit, isn't it? It's so bullshit. Like, I love it how Goku's like, there has to be a weakness, and he's like, he gets hit by it twice, and it takes him 3 times to figure out the weakness. It's like, Goku, he's literally spinning around and turning his back to you. Like, how is that? How have you not found the weakness?
He's not moving fast, charging it up. He's actually moving that slow.
He's like a slow-mo Kamehameha where he also spins around in a complete 360 first. Yeah. So, I thought that was...
Like this Pycon attack goes in a straight line. Like, Goku knows how to move. He's got instant transmission. He uses it in the fight.
Yeah, I know. It's just, yeah, there's a lot of moments like that in this filler where you're scratching your head. Like, you can tell it's been put together in a rush by probably a team who's not quite up to snuff yet. Or their B grade.
Yeah, it reminds me of one of the Dragon Ball Abridged episodes where they played on that idea where like Goku was like, I'm in trouble. And then he's like blank for a few seconds and then turns Super Saiyan or teleports.
Yeah.
And they're like, did you just remember you could do that? Yeah.
Dude, we're going to get this filler in Abridged as well.
Yeah.
How good. Can't wait for that.
Abridged is fantastic.
It's going to be so good. They're going to pull this tournament apart. As much as it's great, they're going to pull it apart. Oh. You watched the Japanese version as well, didn't you? Because what I really liked was the music after he used that fire attack. It was really, really intense and cool.
Okay, yeah. The music in this was very typical Dragon Ball, like the Japanese style one, where it's a little more upbeat than you think.
Yeah,
and same as everyone's voices. Like the Grand Kai is very high pitched.
Yeah, what was the comparison between the Grand Kai and the Japanese, between the English and Japanese? Because in the English, obviously, he's very like, 80s rock.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he's sort of like laid back as well as sort of like rocker style. He's like, hey man, and stuff like that sort of thing. In Dragon Ball, in the Japanese, he just had a much higher pitched, sort of like playful voice that did not match his design.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to go check this out. That's so weird that it doesn't match the design when they designed him, the Japanese.
Yeah, they probably did that intentionally.
Yeah, probably. It's gonna be funny. What do you think of the other battles though? I quite liked. I actually liked the majority of them, like because I not the actual battles, but just the quirky nature of them. My favorite one was the little speedster guy who like was fighting the insect guy.
Runs out of breath.
Yeah, spends all this time just intimidating and runs out of breath at the last second.
That like some of them were funny, some of them were stupid, like the caterpillar against Goku. That's just dumb. There's the water guy that Goku just remembers he can Kamehameha.
Yeah, that was a dumb fight. Absolutely. Another one I loved, though, was the giant dinosaur guy when he jumps on the moon and he grabs the moon to throw at Goku and he just starts spinning around. He's like, I'm spinning around. I loved it. That was good. My girlfriend and I laughed at that. We liked it. Oh, man. Anything else you want to discuss regarding this little 4-episode filler?
It was... I remembered it completely differently. I wasn't really a fan of rewatching it until I got to the end where I was like, oh, okay, there was a reason why I was...
Yeah. I actually enjoyed most of it. It's only 4 episodes, so I banged it all out in one night before going to bed. But I enjoyed it. I watched it with Kelsey, my girlfriend, and I think she enjoyed it for what it was. She hadn't actually seen any of the later Dragon Ball. We'd been watching the first saga, so I think it was quite different and shocking in terms of quality and animation quality between the first saga and this one. So in that sense, it was fun getting her reactions for it. But overall, I really like the Otherworld as a place. I like the diversity of characters. I think that's really cool, and it's one of its strengths. And it's kind of disappointing we don't really get to visit it often unless Goku dies, which he's currently unfortunately alive, so we won't be going back anytime soon.
Well, it seems like Otherworld's just a place that you could visit.
Yeah, well, Goku can visit it. He's got instant transmission, right?
It's very inconsistent what Otherworld is.
Yeah, my understanding is you can sense it, but it's not a location you can just reach by ship. So Goku can sense it, so he can transport there. He can take like a little cheeky, wormhole punch through some artificial magical wall when he's there, right? That's my interpretation of it. But you probably couldn't get there unless you could do something like instant transmission and just cheat your way in. But But I don't know, man. I like it. I like Otherworld. I liked the Boo saga, and I liked fighting there with Boo. I'd love to see some of the characters come back, or just come back again briefly, like Hercules. He was pretty cool. Definitely Pycon. Maybe we can get a follow-up episode for what the fuck that butterfly turns into, or the caterpillar. We see him hatch or something.
And he's a total badass.
He's a total fucking badass, and he's ready to fight Goku. Yeah. But I don't know, man. I'd just love to see some of those characters get touched on again, and I wouldn't mind seeing Pycon get integrated into the regular series. Like, could you imagine them and Piccolo going at it? That'd be so cool.
Yeah. I think Pycon, out of anyone, he probably deserves to be a major, like an actual main character in the fold in canon.
Yeah. Well, he's got a bit of traction, hasn't he? Like, he's been in a movie. He had a good stint in this, actually the last saga of Dragon Ball Z, he obviously featured heavily at the start, and he had a couple of other appearances as the series went on. In that saga, so... Yeah.
And in the movie, we got to see him yell at a jelly bean.
Yeah. Like, you can't give the man a spot on the team, you know, bring him into the fold. Just like Broly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, we've gotten it. We've gotten Broly and Gogeta as canon. And from two separate movies. One of which Pycon was in.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do it. Absolutely. So, who knows, man? Should we, Mark? Before we go... Let's have a let's pull out our crystal ball. What do you think is going to be fan servicey about the next arc of the manga for Super?
The very next arc once it returns?
Yeah, after Moro. So
okay. I was going to say when the anime returns, it'll probably do Broly.
Yeah, well, that'll either do Broly or go straight into the Moro arc, I think. But the one after that in the manga, I'm pretty sure it's official. They've literally come out and said that it's going to be a fan servicey type arc, probably in different terminology, but nonetheless, what do you think is the fan servicey aspect?
Not sure. If they're trying to bring back someone old, I feel like they're going to do something weird with the remaining Saiyans. Icarus might show up.
Oh, no. Don't say that. You can't make him canon. Over Pycon.
He was in more movies.
He's in like every movie, man. He's in the first half of movies.
I would actually really, really like it if Cooler got in.
Oh, yeah. Cooler's so much cooler than Frieza, isn't he?
Like he's got enough story that didn't complicate things where he could easily fit into canon.
Yeah, easily. Like, they handled that perfectly with his movie. Although, is it going to be weird because he's, like, died a bunch of times and come back? Like, isn't he in... he's got 2 movies, so he had Metacooler. So what form does he come back as?
I imagine that they could keep his story from the first Cooler movie, but reintegrate it into Super. So the stuff that happened before he came to Earth.
What if the delicious sandwich star, the spaghetti star, comes back with Cooler?
The spaghetti star.
Yeah, the spaghetti star comes back in the next arc, and Cooler's back, and we have an arc about Frieza having to destroy his brother and team up with Goku. Because he's hell bent on galactic domination. Yeah.
It'd be interesting. It'd also be interesting if they put a little Dragon Ball Heroes in it, because I know that Cooler is not only in it but can go gold.
Yeah, Cooler would be cool, man. I would imagine they'd bring him back in his first movie form and forgo the second one. I don't know. There's so many possibilities, isn't there? I mean, it doesn't even have to be a character. It could be just something that happens that's reminiscent of the past, like an Earth tournament or something, or...
Yeah, I think we've had enough. I don't think it should return on a tournament so soon.
No, but, it could come back as like a filler beginning, much like the Boo saga did. If it had to be a character that's fan servicey, like a lot of the Dragon Ball Super fan servicey stuff does happen around characters and with characters.
Yes.
So I'm just going to say Pycon, man. I'm just going to take a stab.
Yeah, it could be Pycon. It could be Launch. I haven't seen Launch since the original Dragon Ball. She had blue hair, and when she sneezed, she had blonde hair, and she was like super violent and had guns.
Yeah, actually, it could be like a really old throwback for like a bit of filler to start off the Because remember how they did that with before the Tournament of Power, with what's her name? Or I'm thinking of the same girl, the little robot girl.
Arail.
Yes, remember? That's as fan servicey as it gets, right?
Yeah, I mean, Arail's another Akira Toriyama property.
Yeah,
So they're just like, oh yeah. I mean, like Jacko was another property as well, and they just threw him in.
Yeah, which worked perfectly. Yeah, maybe you're right, man. No, but the rumor is that the next arc will be fan servicey, so that kind of makes me feel like they're bringing back a bad guy, you know, like one of the old school bad guys or something like that. Maybe we just go into Namek, you know, new Namek. Although I'm pretty sure we're doing that in the Moro arc right now. Anyway, that's enough speculation. So I'm just gonna put it out there and say if it's character, it's Pycon. I feel like that's too small in scale, though. I feel like it's gonna be bigger than that. And Mark, what was yours?
I think Cooler could lead into an arc.
Okay, all right. So let's stick with that. We'll let you guys know. I'm sure you guys will keep us honest if we're wrong. But as per usual, guys, thanks for listening and watching. Before we go, Mark, let's give the Otherworld Tournament our 7 out of 7 Dragon Ball rating. We're gonna do it. Hit me with it.
As the whole tournament?
Yep.
All right. 3.5.
Ooh. Yeah.
Because I didn't care much for it until it reached its climax.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm gonna go 4. So that's a wrap, guys. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. As per usual, we'll be back roughly next week with, I think, the next movie, Mark. I can't remember what we're up to. So, what was the last one we did? BoJack. So the one after BoJack. So you'll have to check out what that one is, and we'll be watching that one with you guys. So we'll see you next week in the next episode of G-Fighterz, guys. Have a good one.